Happy New Year, golfers. This is Pat Gorman, and today is the third video of my six-part series, one per month. And today's focus is going to be on chip shots, chip and runs. We're essentially that 5, 10, 15 yards out from the green, and in particular, we are on a tight lie. And so for you golfers that are in the colder climates, that's why I really want to hone in on this indoor couple of simple drills. It's all about increasing our ability to hit it solid. When we can strike it solid, have the confidence we can do that, then we're going to get a much better feel for the distance to our landing area and then how the ball is going to then roll to the target. So hitting it solid is priority number one. And so now a big part of the success in getting to that is going to be in our setup. So when we're hitting these shots, generally, I would say hip width at most, a little wider than a club head, and a real simple rhyme. When the lie is tight, the shaft is upright. And that means that it's essentially a 90 degree to the ground. And that's a big part why I have the shaft down, just so I can eyeball that. So I want to stay away from anything like this, because that's when we can dig. Chunk, it's going about 3-4 feet. We have to hit it again. Or if you're on hard surface, you can drop kick and we scull it, and yeah, not a lot of fun to see. So we have to set up fairly 50-50, favor the front leg a little bit. Ball should be about middle between the toes. And like I said, we want to monitor the shaft so it's upright when the lie is tight. And once we have that, now it's about keeping the quads quiet. Very important. When we're chipping or hitting these chip and runs, we're essentially in the putting mindset. And that means we want the shoulders to control the flow of the arms and the golf club. And so you'll never find a good putter or anyone who's any good around the green and their legs are doing this. The feet are rolling. It would be impossible to consistently strike it solid. So we have to feel like, yep, I'm favoring the front leg a tad as long as the shaft stays upright. And then from here, now it's quiet quads. And now it's just a matter of, okay, I want to feel like my shoulders are controlling my arms and in this case, this is my 54 degree back and through. Now a great drill. So this is the first one. We take the club, we put it right along, I would say lean it on your front leg, maintain the same stance. Another big part of the setup is keeping the upper triceps snug to the torso. I like to feel a little bit of pressure there, right at the very top there, right off the pecs. Right there, snug, and keep that the same, palms together. Do a couple sets of 10. Do them slow. Here and back. And if you're doing this correctly, this club should not move. If you're finding that this thing's moving around, your quads are getting a little too lively, so we got to tone that down a little bit. And as I mentioned that the ball position was about middle-ish. And then from there, now we're going to try to focus on good tempo. And I'm a big believer, the smaller the shot, the bigger the muscles. So as I said, upper arms are snug, tries on torso. Hands are just holding the golf club. You want to have that mindset. They're just holding the golf club. The only way the shaft and the arms are going to swing is because the shoulders are causing that motion. Now, one thing that's really important, I found for me, because my tendency is I would get a little bit here and then get a little loose in the transition, and I could down cock it, and then I'd have to hurry up and hit it, and that's when I could nick a few, or you stub a few. And it's just so easy to do that on these tight lies because there's not much room for error. So now, here's my metronome. That's at 58 beats. That's just a number that I like. That's the one that really works for me. So you have to do some practice to find your number. But the goal here is, this is drill number 2, is to now feel like, okay, as I said, this is my number and I started on one beep and I come through the impact area or scraping the turf on the second one. So I've taken 58 and I've broken it to 3 syllables. 58, 58, 58. So fifth is when I start, T is when I change directions, 8 is when I'm striking it, or what I call I'm shaving blades. Now, quick imagery. I try to visualize the bottom edge. This leading edge is a razor, and I'm just shaving the blades. If I do that, the ball has to hit somewhere in the middle part of the face here. So it should look something like this. So this would be drill number 2, doing a couple sets of 9 or 10. 58. 58. 58. So now I'm going to set up here. I've got this ball marker representing the ball. And for me personally, I like to set the very toe of the golf club right on the inside quarter of the ball. That's just an image that helps me because that signals that I absolutely need to miss the ball, which I have to feel my arms and the shaft arc to the left. And if my arms follow my chest, that will happen. Because my tendency is I would down cock it and this would get way away from me and it's out here and I would nick them off the heel. So that's just my little thing to help me always make sure my chest is controlling where my arms are going and I have to visually see that it's arcing left. So now I've got to do that on the beat. 58. 58. And I've got these 2 other coins so that I just know that, okay, I've got to be scraping somewhere here to just a couple, 3 inches beyond the coins. And then, now I want to have some fun with it, and I'm going to now chip the ball marker. So we know how thin that is. So you do a couple sets of 10 of this, trying to see that you're hitting that ball marker solid. If you can hit this solid off of this tight of lie, a golf ball is going to be a walk in the park. But we have to keep our mind on executing the feeling, not, okay, the result of the shot, or absolutely not what could go wrong. That's the challenge for all of us. So now I'm going to set up to it. I'm going to do a couple rehearsals. 58. 58. Now I'm stepping up, and I like to put it just a little bit on the inside of the heel. 58. And that's what should happen. We should see that go up just a little bit. Okay, so let's give that another go. Again, get the rehearsals, get the feeling. 58. 58. Quiet quads. 58. That was a little bit better. And then I've got one of these little, kind of a soft ball, but it's got enough of a click where you can feel that. It's not just styrofoam here. So now I'm going to do the same thing. 58. So I feel like the beat's pretty good here. 58. Now trust that flow. My landing target. Let me start over there. Too busy talking. 58. That was good and solid. So, just a quick recap. Couple sets of 9 or 10 quiet quads. Right here. Do them slow. Do them slow. The next drill is we want to feel as though we're getting the a sensation of, okay, what number is good for me on that metronome? And set up the coin so you have some reference there. Checking my setup, I feel 50-50, maybe a slight lean to the front, but when the lie is tight, the shaft is upright. 58. 58. I like to put it just a little bit on the heel. 58. And I would suggest make sure that you hold your finish. So you know that you can tell that the only way your arms and the shaft got over here is because of your chest. It's so easy when you're hitting these little chip shots and we're close to the flag. It's so easy to just go, and then we this stops, and then our hands just try to do everything. And that's when the contact is going to be incredibly inconsistent. So that's what you need to try to do. I would say, aside from these couple drills and then the setup keys, is that you want to have the general picture of what you're trying to do. And I always try to visualize the landing pad out on the very front part of the green, the flattest part of the green, because then that way you're going to have a pretty good idea how the ball is going to land, obviously, and then how it's going to bounce and roll. Difficult to gauge it if you're landing on a little bit of a slope, either up or down or side hill. And then so, visualizing a big towel on the ground, a hula hoop, whatever comes to mind, just visualizing that landing area. Secondly, try to see how high should this shot look, and just use your body as a basic gauge. So should this shot be about knee high at its peak? Should it be about waist high? Should it be about shoulder high, or maybe a little bit above my head? How high should this look as it's coming down to my landing area? And then I like to see a cross section of a funnel, letter Y, so to speak, laying on the ground, and then the ball's going to hit in that funnel, and then it's going to get pulled right through, and I visualize a track going to the hole. So being very visual to see the height, where it's landing, how it's going to roll, that helps give you feel. And that's very, very important. That's why really good players, if you ever watch some golf on TV, they're really looking. They're trying to see the shot in their mind. How high, how's it going to look once it lands in their area, how's it going to roll? And then now it's all about rehearsing the feel. 58. 58. 58. And I really like this drill of using this right here, chipping with one of those. If you can do a couple sets of 9 or 10, and you're striking this solid and it's getting up in the air, you get on the golf course, you just have to trust it. There comes a time when you just have to shed the doubt. You got to shed that skin. You got to say, okay, I'm so into my shot picture. Okay, I'm focused on my feel. I've got my really good setup. And now I'm so into my tempo here. 58. 58. Now we just have fun with it. Let's see what happens. Focus on that beat. 58. And that takes a lot of the anxiety out of the shot when you're trying to stay away from the result of the shot. I mean, we all know we have to try to make a score, but when you get so into the process of, okay, this is what I have to do to strike a solid shot. If we do these things, the ball is going to take care of itself. So I'll leave you with that. Enjoy these drills now for the next month. Like I said, a couple sets of 9 or 10, quiet quads, you're chipping the ball marker, get maybe a foam ball in there, the metronome to find your beat, and I will guarantee you at the end of this month, you are going to be making better contact, your confidence is going to go way up, and we're going to take that to the golf course. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave those below. If you like these videos, you know what to do. Until that next video and until that next golf shot, enjoy the process of improving.